Okay, so everybody's talking about them. I guess I'll join. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. They're such an item. And I'm going to talk about their astrology. So, Taylor Swift is a Sagittarius. She's a fire sign, and we all can tell. She loves to perform, and she's outgoing and adventurous and fun. So, Travis Kelce, he has his sun in the sign of Libra, which is an air sign. So fire and air do go very well together. They would get along very well whenever we just talk about their sun signs. They would be able to go on adventures together because Libra is very much a people pleaser. He would go with the flow with her. And just, they could go on adventures and have fun and flirt. Now, Taylor's moon sign is in Cancer. So she's lovey-dovey and an emotional person underneath that Sagittarius fun exterior. So, Cancer's a water sign, so it makes, and they're very creative, actually, so it makes a lot of sense that she would be someone who writes music and sings about love. Now, Travis, he has his moon in Sagittarius. Now, we don't have neither of their birth times, so I can't go into ascendants, and I do believe that, these are pretty accurate moon signs for them, but I'm not sure exactly where they lie in their charts because I don't have their birth times official. Now, his moon being in Sagittarius, he's not someone who's super ooey gooey mushy, and he is rather one to do things instead of sit there and talk about his emotions. He is not really a feeler. He would be passionate. So that's where they may run into trouble, these two, because she's a more emotional moon sign and his moon sign is more adventurous and fun and doesn't really want to talk about the deep emotions. They would rather, go have fun, and, they do have his moon sign conjunct her sun sign. So that does kind of make up for their moon signs not necessarily being super compatible. His Venus is conjunct her Mars in the sign of Scorpio. So they do have a good sexual connection, especially I could see them being very compatible in a romantic relationship, in love, and they probably are very affectionate, both at home and obviously in public. We've seen them kissing and, holding hands and all that stuff. So good for them. That's a very compatible placement to have in love. Now, with her Mars in Scorpio, she would be very deep and passionate and at times jealous and possessive. His Mars is actually in Libra, so that can make him much less possessive, more, fly by the seat of his pants, go out and flirt with everybody in the room. So that could cause some trouble between them, and I could see them fighting over jealousy. So Travis's Mars and Sun are conjunct. Makes sense that he's a competitive sports player. He probably has always been good at sports his whole life. I don't know all that much about him, but I can say that by looking at his chart. And he unfortunately has Mars and Sun squaring a lot of Taylor's planets, which can cause some friction, some arguments, especially with Mars involved. He could maybe bully her. He can be a little bit controlling. So is it going to last? I like to look at Saturn for that. If Saturn is making a pleasant angle to any personal planets, especially the Sun or Venus or Mars, it can mean the relationship will last. The Moon, obviously, and Mercury. So they both have Saturn in kind of rough positions. They're conjunct, but whenever it comes down to how they touch each other's planets, other planets, sounds kind of dirty, they don't play nicely. Their Saturn aspects are not super amazing at all. All they really got going for them is Saturn. His Saturn is actually conjunct her Mercury, so that can lead to a lasting mental connection and some good communication that makes things last. So even when things are failing or looking bad or down, they may be able to talk it out. Now, the most, unsettling part of their chart, their synastry chart that I see that I don't really love, is they do have a giant T-square involving a bunch of placements, Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn in Capricorn, his Libra, Mars, and Sun, and then Jupiter. They both have Jupiter placed in Cancer. So the signs involved in this T-square. So Capricorn involves our work life, Cancer involves our private life and our home life, and Libra involves often our marriage and our partnerships and relationships. So what I can kind of see this playing out as is maybe one of them will want to settle down, the other one might not want to do that. They might want to get married, the other person might not be ready. There can just be some sort of back and forth where they have to find balance and figure it out, because that T-square is very prominent and, you know, can lead to some tension and frustrations, but every relationship has that no matter what. Now, everybody has them getting married. I'm not sure about that. They do have some very pleasant connections that can lead to some great compatibility for sure, and a lot of chemistry. That, you know, Venus-Mars conjunction is extremely compatible and exciting and passionate, loving energy. But there is some friction there. There's some trouble that they have to get through, some problems they have to work on before they end up married. I don't know that I see that happening. They might get engaged because everything's new and exciting and fun, but when things aren't new and exciting or fun, Sagittarius, first of all, Taylor is a Sagittarius. They run for the hills. Libra is not one to really hold on very long or fight for a relationship either. They push their problems under the rug, and, you know, where she may confront him, he might just lie. So I can see there being trouble in paradise, but they are awfully cute to watch.